Say welcome back to Meech Speaks.
Welcome back to Meech Speaks.
No, Meech Speaks.
Welcome back to 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 Meech Speaks.
I want to say something. A prize, motherfucker.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Meech Speaks. I'm your host, Demetrius Thickpen, also known as Meech Speaks. And before we get started with this episode, head on over to your favorite streaming platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and leave this podcast an honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, it's getting hard not to be able to not find me. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting real easy to find me. And I say that because if you type my name in now, you know, articles are now popping up. Features are now starting to pop up. You feel me? Let me just, hey, hold up. Let me talk a little shit before we get started with this episode. You know what I mean? Let me talk a little shit. But it's getting real easy to find me now. You know what I mean? You type my name in Google, a lot of things just gonna pop up now. You know what I mean? All praise goes to the Most High. Some of the praise goes to myself. And most importantly, thank you to everybody who continues to support me. You know what I mean? Like, thank you to everyone who continues to support me because, once again, this podcast was dedicated to helping us become a better version of ourselves. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that support. Let me rephrase that. I would not be here if others did not invest in me. So I truly, truly am humbled and thankful for that. But before we really dive into this episode, I really want to just tell you that was a very hard thing for me to do. You know what I mean? To give myself a pat on the back, to smile when I talk about my own accomplishments, to legitimately be happy with the things that I have accomplished up until this point. And even as I'm saying it, you feel me? Like, even as I'm saying it, there's this voice that says, but you know you still got a lot more work to do. You know that you're not there yet. You know that you still gotta get your views up, listenings up. You still need to get more sponsors. You're not exactly where you're at. Even though I'm pouring into myself, I can still hear that. And once again, I really wanted to say thank you to everyone who contributed to the poll. You know, this podcast, you know, when we ask these questions, especially when I ask these questions to the community, I'm asking these questions in a sense of what is going to resonate with you. Like, what do you need to hear right now? Because I know a lot of times in my videos, you know, I come out and I say, I don't know who needs to hear this because I don't know who needs to hear this. So this week I had asked, I said, you know, who's dealing with insecure thoughts and also who's having a hard time with accepting blessings in their lives, you know, accepting some type of good within their lives. And looking at the polls, I know exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And it's crazy because right before I even put that poll out, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. And she was talking to me about my content. She was talking to me about the podcast. She was just talking to me in general. You know what I mean? Like, we always have a good conversation. And she was telling me how good, you know, the podcast is starting to do. And, you know, the videos are starting to get shared. And as she's pouring into me, you feel me? I felt like this need to pour back into her. You feel me? I felt this need. Like, she's telling me all these good things about myself. And I'm like this, oh, well, I mean, I see you're growing too. You know what I mean? I see you're glowing too. And she cuts me off and says, Meech, this is your moment. Allow yourself to have it. And I'll say that part one more time. She said, Meech, this is your moment. Allow yourself to have it. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but this is your moment. Allow yourself to have it. And although that's easy to say, you feel me? Like, that's easy to say. For a lot of us, that's actually very hard. Like, for some of us, man, we've been in survival mode for so long that anytime that we receive some type of good, we shrug that shit off. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in survival mode for so long that anytime like something good happens in our lives, you know, it actually makes us feel worse. You feel me? The anxiety starts to go up a little bit. Our spider senses start to tingle. And you know exactly where that came from. You know what I mean? And a good couple of examples is that Some of us was at a bad unit at one point. We probably were at a bad job at one point. And while we were there, we had to survive in order to get through the next day. You feel me? We had shitty leadership. We probably had, incompetent coworkers. The workload was exhausting, draining. And anytime that we would receive some type of good, it would be snuffed out with some bullshit. So now here we are at a better unit, you know what I mean? Surrounded by good leadership, surrounded by a good team, and we always got this inkling of survival within us. Yeah, things are going good right now, but, something bad could happen. Yeah, they saying that I'm doing good right now, but I know that they don't mean that. They probably, because I'm doing so good right now, they probably about to give me more taskers, have me overworked, have me overburdened, have me task saturated, have me tired. I know that feeling. A lot of us right now, man, we probably been, stabbed in the back by some people that we love the most. So now we surround ourselves, now when people come into our lives, we are only able to show them surface level emotions. We are only able to just show them surface level emotions. And not only that, we keep everybody at our arm's distance. Because we know that if we allow them to get close, right? Like if we allow them to get close, they just gonna stab us in the back again. So to prevent that from happening, we don't allow ourselves to receive any good. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of us was in a bad relationship that sucked up 3 years of our lives, 4 years of our lives, hell, probably even 10 years of our lives. And we were in survival mode in a relationship with someone who we should have been able to be vulnerable with. But because we couldn't be vulnerable, we had to stay in survival. So now here we are deciding that we're going to open up, allow somebody back in our lives. But the thing is that we can only show you surface level emotions. To be honest with you, that you're exhibiting the exact same thing that the other person did. They good in the beginning. You feel me? Except for this good in the beginning is now 2 weeks. It's now 3 months. This person been good in the beginning for the past 6 months, but you still waiting. You're still waiting for them to show you their true colors. And on some extreme senses, because you have been in survival mode, and you've been receiving nothing but good, and you've been waiting for the bad for so long, you'll even go to lengths to just sabotage it. You know what I mean? You'll go to lengths to just sabotage the situation because you're tired of waiting. And you don't even realize that you self-sabotage and you unconsciously do things to make the situation bad because you perform in the bad. I know that feeling. You perform in the bad. You perform in the mediocre. When things go good, when things are starting to go great, you don't know how to handle that because you haven't experienced it. A lot of us have never received genuine love before. We're always waiting for the but. We're always waiting for the and. We're always waiting for the damn, just when things were going good, here comes the bad. We're waiting for that. So with this episode, we're going to dive into how to accept things in our lives and why we do it. Now, just like what I said, a lot of us have been in survival mode for so long. And when we talk about survival mode, man, like survival mode is broken down into many things or it can be perceived in many things. For some of us, it's always being on the grind. You know what I mean? We're constantly in a hustle mode. And because we're constantly on the grind on a regular basis, anything that we received, we never truly digest. You know what I mean? We've been trying to get to our $1 million idea, and any $100 that we come across, any $1,000 that we come across, we put that in our pocket and we keep it pushing. You feel me? Because it's not what we want. It's not the grand scheme. You know what I mean? And I'll use myself as an example. I want to take the podcast to a much higher platform. And because I'm not there yet, anytime somebody comes up to me and they're saying, hey man, your podcast is real good, bro. Like I love your content. It resonates with me. The only thing that I can say is thank you. You feel me? Like I'm not even able to take it into consideration. That's a great thing that they're saying to me. You know what I mean? That means a lot because I'm impacting one person. You feel me? But because I'm not at the goal that I have set for myself, you know what I mean? I'm just throwing it over my shoulder. All right, I appreciate that. Thanks. Some people reach out to me. I just did, and once again, this ain't a attaboy episode. I just did, a segment where I'm sponsored by a big company, and I'm still saying to myself, dang, I'm not there yet. And because I'm constantly saying, dang, I'm not there yet, I've created this pseudo dysmorphia when it comes down to my goals. You feel me? I don't know who else has been there. You create this fake dysmorphia almost, or essentially like this dysmorphia when you look at your goals. Like you're always trying to find the flaw. You're always trying to find the chink. It's never good enough. You constantly see yourself where you used to be. You constantly see yourself where you used to be, not where you're at right now. And we'll sit back and we'll talk about mindfulness. You know what I mean? Like we'll say mindfulness, be present in the moment. But you know that if you stay in the moment, right? Like if you choose to stay in the moment, you run the risk of being complacent. You run the risk of being comfortable. And it doesn't help that we live in this society where we're told that we constantly got to be chasing something. You know, the lion and the gazelle. You constantly got to be running after something. But I don't know who needs to hear this, but lions and gazelles also sleep. Lions and gazelles, they ain't constantly active. Lions and gazelles also have to relish in the moment as well. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's okay. You feel me? Like it's okay. It's okay to be happy. You know? It's okay to accept the thank you. It's okay to stop and smell the flowers. I promise you it's not going to rain. And I know that's easier said than done, you know what I mean? To tell you that it's okay, because anytime that you told yourself that it was okay, right? Like anytime that you have told yourself that it was okay, something bad has happened. You got a promotion, and immediately as soon as you got that promotion, you were burdened with more work, and the people that you used to hang with, you know what I mean? Like they ain't fucking with you no more. You finally got one of the things that you have been chasing after, or just to find it, grab it, and realize that that's not really the thing that you wanted. You finally found that person, you know what I mean, that you thought that you was going to be spending the rest of your life with, but then, life hit both of y'all and things come crashing down, so you have now promised yourself that never again. It'll always happen. Something will always happen. So I gotta be the one to have to tell you that it is okay. It's okay. So now that we understand like what is causing us to go into survival mode, what is causing us to not be able to essentially accept our own blessings and the good that is coming in our lives, let's talk about how can we be able to accept these things. So the first thing that we got to do is that we have to acknowledge what the situation is. A lot of times, like we'll just let our spider senses just take us and just put us straight into survival mode. And next thing you know, we're just on autopilot. And I just really want to just take a moment and just say that, like, as I was looking up, just researching this topic, understand that this is like these are natural traits. You feel me? Like these are natural things for us. And that survival mode that you're feeling is essentially some type of anxiety. And anxiety is how we have had to survive for so long. So please understand that there's nothing wrong with you. And I feel like I have to say that there is nothing wrong with you. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody. I'm just trying to just clear your nerves for a second. There ain't nothing wrong with you. You feel me? This is something that everybody goes through. But the thing is that there are some people that have found ways to be able to control it, or found steps that will help you. So one of the first ones is to acknowledge what is happening right now. When you feel like that you're going into survival mode, rather than go into autopilot, I need you to grab the controls. You feel me? I need you to grab the controls. I need you to pay attention to the sensors that are going on around you. Essentially what's happening right now is that it's almost like a fire alarm's going off in your head. Something good is happening, and the warning sign is letting you know, like, hey, stand by. Something is about to happen next. Stand by. Don't get comfortable. And that's because it's happened to you before. That is why the warning is going off, because it's happened to you before. And I'm not trying to invalidate your experience. But when you acknowledge what is about to happen and why that warning sign is going off, you know what I mean? And this is it's just like if you were working on something, or if you were playing something, or if you were using something and it starts to act up. Why does it do that when I do this? You know what I mean? Like, what's the cause and effect? So the cause is that happiness moment, you know what I mean? The effect is that warning light that puts you in survival mode, that does not allow you to accept it. So when you understand what the cause is, okay, so, you know, some good is going on, man. Like, my heart's starting to beat a little bit. I'm prepared. Relax. You feel me? And the next thing that goes into this is to feel. See, you gotta acknowledge it, and then you also have to feel it. Allow it to go through you. You feel me? And when I say feel, I'm not talking about it in some sense of some squishy little feeling. Oh, well, you know, you just got to be able to feel your emotions. No. I'm talking about, like, actually feel what is happening to you right now. You know what I mean? Your heart beating. You know, you starting to look around. Because when you can feel exactly what is going on, you can acknowledge what's happening as well. And as you're paying attention to this feeling, you're able to address it. And I say that you have to feel it because, once again, a lot of times, like, we'll go straight into autopilot. We'll go straight into autopilot. We'll go straight into deflecting. We'll go straight into self-sabotage. And we'll go straight into trying to alleviate this feeling or to validate it more. Like, hey, see, I told you this is exactly why it's going to happen. And we'll create, unknowingly, we'll create the bad thing when there was no bad even coming. So feel it. And when you feel it, that's when you can really sit back and say, everything's good. You know what I mean? It's just a compliment. Hey, I'm at a different unit now. I'm at a different company now. This person that is in my life right now, that's not this person. That's not that person. You know? And then you can also start to tell yourself, hey, come on now. We not in the race right now. We not in the race. We at the finish line. We no longer at the beginning. We no longer in the middle of the race. I ain't jumping over obstacles right now. I'm at the finish line. When you feel and you're able to acknowledge, right, you also can go ahead and remind yourself. And this is the things that I have to tell myself all the time. Especially when my friend was giving me those compliments. She was telling me, you know, all these things. These are your moments. And I had to take a step back and say, she's right. She's right. Meech, you've been working your ass off up until this moment. You feel me? Yeah, I get it. You still got other goals, bro, but you planted these fucking seeds. Now the flowers are up, bro. You created this. This isn't something that just came out of nowhere, bro. You created this. Appreciate it. You got a person coming in your life and you feel like as if, like, you know, something bad is about to happen. Take a step back and tell yourself, didn't you spend that moments alone doing the shadow work, healing yourself? You prepared for this. Accept it. You brought this person in your life. This person is actually here to bring good. They're not about to sabotage you. They're not about to stab you in the back. It's okay. Now the next step, you know, is for the one that ain't buying none of that. You feel me? They've been hurt too many times. They have seen too many bad situations unfold after some good, that no matter how many times that they say, hey, it's okay to just allow this to happen, they like, fuck all of that. They the ones, what I want you to understand is that you don't always have to be reactive. You can be proactive. Okay? See, when you reactive, you're reacting to something that has already happened. But when you're proactive, right? Like when you're proactive, you're already preparing for it. You see what I'm saying? And when I say that you're preparing for it, you know, you done created your mental bomb structure. or what was there it is, your mental bond structure. You got a new person that's come into your life after you came out of a bad relationship, and you waiting for them to do that bad rather than just anxiously wait. Prepare for it. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that pay attention to what they say, and if they decide to cross your boundaries, just reaffirm them. You know what I mean? Because last time when I was in that relationship, you know what I mean, I let a motherfucker cross my boundaries and do whatever they wanted to do. This time around, if you decide to cross my boundaries, I'm going to stop you at the gate. You feel me? Because these are the lines that I have now drawn. If you get a promotion and you worried about how people are about to start overburdening you and essentially, not taking you serious or start to be a little bit hating towards you, you have that conversation already in your head. You feel me? Hey, look, I understand. I greatly appreciate this. However, I am going to do the responsibilities that are given to me, but I am not about to start doing everybody's job. Everybody still has their own workload. Y'all not about to oversaturate me. Y'all not about to overburden me. That's not how this is about to work. I did not work my ass off to get burnt out when I get to the top. That's not what we're doing. And you're already having that. Even something as simple as somebody telling you, hey, you look good. Hey, congratulations. You don't always got to deflect and give them a compliment. You already have ran that in your head and you're saying, hey, thank you, I appreciate that. And that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. When you acknowledge, you allow yourself to feel, you can also sit back and even game plan. You know what I mean? But as we go into the next step, none of that matters if you have never experienced it. And we always go into survival mode off of the smallest inclination. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I said that word wrong. But we always go into survival mode off the smallest inconvenience. You feel me? Off the smallest accomplishment. Hey, you look good, man. Oh, man, I appreciate that. I'm just wearing some old shit. You know what I mean? You look you look good, too. Allow yourself to feel even the small things in life. You know what I mean? In order to get experience in this, you have to experience it. Even if they say something nice to you at Starbucks, just get used to that and say thank you. And as you build up from the smaller things in life, you feel me? You get used to the bigger things as well. It won't always catch you off guard when something good in your life is happening because you're used to good things happening. Let me rephrase that. You have grown accustomed to good things happening in your life. And when you do that, you feel me? Like you also realize that you are deserving of good. And I feel like I didn't address that yet. But there's some people right now that feel like they're not deserving of good. I don't know how your upbringing was. I don't know what the trial or the journey in your life has been. But I just really want to let you know this is that you are deserving of good. You feel me? Like you're deserving of good. Like, yeah, life has sucked for you. Yeah, you've been through some shitty situations that you thought that you would never come out of. But I just really want to let you know this real quick. That you are deserving of the good that is coming in your life. You worked your ass off for that. You was in the trenches for that. You was down bad for that. So the things that are happening in your life right now, you deserve that. Now, lastly, talk to a friend. You feel me? Talk to somebody. Like one thing that I have noticed is that we always got that one friend that we call in our lives when something bad is happening. You know what I mean? That motherfucker did you wrong. You got that friend on the line. They on some bullshit at the job. You got that friend on the line. You having a bad day. You got that friend on the line. Why don't you call that person when good is in your life? You feel me? Why don't you call that person when good is in your life? Talk to them. Tell them everything that is going on in your life and have that open conversation with them. You know what I mean? Be vulnerable with that person. It's okay. And for those who do not have a friend, for those who feel like they just don't want to burden the people that they love with the issues that they got going on in their lives, I just really want to let you know, it's okay to seek help. It's okay to reach out to a therapist who will unbiasedly listen to what you got going on in your life. It's okay. A lot of us go through life and we say to ourselves that we just wish that we can be happy. But the thing is about being happy is that you have to be willing to accept the happiness that comes in your life. You don't always have to nitpick it. You don't always have to sabotage it. You don't always have to be on high alert. I understand life, there was moments in life that just wasn't good to you. I know there was moments in life where it's taught you a valuable lesson. But at the exact same time, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but you deserve the happiness that you have created in your life. And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Now, do me a favor, if you're on Apple or Spotify, don't forget to leave a 5-star review for this podcast. And lastly, hit that subscribe button because this podcast deserves to grow just as